Alright, so first you're going to start by opening up Edge. You can skip all this data hoarding garbage. Make sure you skip all of it and don't send them any of your data. You just exit out of the weird customization stuff. Now, go ahead and download Firefox. It is going to be imperative to the rest of this. Just gotta let it install, that kind of thing. Run through the motions here. Open the installer, run it, all that stuff. Okay, now we can set that guy aside for later and open up some settings. Now, in settings, you want to head over to System, then under Display, and then under Advanced Display, there should be a little refresh rate. Make sure that's set to the highest thing possible. Also make sure that your display resolution is set high, and I like 100% scale, but you don't have to do that. Under Personalization, here are just some taskbar settings that I generally like. I don't want task view. I like having it, left aligned, all that type of stuff. Just makes it look cleaner to me. But I think Windows 10 doesn't have any of that, so that's kind of a little bit of a moot point, but whatever. Now head over to Apps, into Startup, and turn off as many of these as you can, because all these do is bloat. That's all they'll serve to do. Okay, now under Installed Apps, you can go into there and just delete a majority of these Microsoft, like Media Player and Family and Copilot and Clipchamp and 365 and all this other garbage. This also includes things like Norton Security. Get that off. All you need is Windows Defender. Under Accounts, make sure you never add any of your accounts, because that will just steal your data. And then back into Personalization, you can change your theme, but it isn't really going to matter. If it asks you to activate it, you can use a generic key, which are pretty easy to find on Windows websites. They're mainly used for OEM stuff. But yeah, now we can move over to Firefox. Make sure you don't need to pin it to your taskbar, but you do want it as your default browser. Don't let it recommend or sync anything. That just steals your data. Now, look at this. Look at this garbage. Like, come on, really? News stories? You gotta be kidding me. All you gotta do is go into Settings, and then I like having Control Tab cycle through them. You can do any of this startup or tabs thing, have it on light, dark mode, whatever you prefer. I personally prefer dark mode, but that's just me. You get a horizontal, vertical tabs, contrast control. It really is whatever. Just other basic personalization stuff. It doesn't matter too much. But then we can go over to Home, and this is where things start making a difference. You can change your home page to whatever. I like Firefox Home, but I like just having the web search and then my own personal shortcuts, and no recommended stories or activity or anything. Look at how much cleaner that is. Like, look at that. I also like doing 2 rows of shortcuts. I find that just works better for me. Under search, I like DuckDuckGo, but Google is fine. It's whatever. Search suggestions is fine. Address bar is fine. It's all more personalization stuff. Under privacy and security, is where things start getting serious. Turn it to strict. Always on strict. And tell websites to do the privacy. You don't have to delete your cookies. That's a little too much. You can use a primary password if you'd like. I don't tend to. Don't use single sign-on. Never use single sign-on. You can save and fill payment methods and addresses. I sometimes like to, but it's a little bit of a security risk. Data collection and data use. You can turn all those off. Make sure you also have those pop-up windows blocked. Under security, the blocking dangerous downloads, yeah, fine. Um, it's whatever. Make sure you turn on HTTPS only mode. For DNS, maximum protection. Just maximum. And I use NextDNS. But you can use Cloudflare. I find it less reliable and slower, but that's just me. Now under extensions, none of the stuff on the homepage really matters. Just going to find more add-ons, and I like Darkreader. This first one here, I find it just kind of works well for me, but it is kind of pseudo paid. I don't pay for it, but you can if you want to, I guess. Now for ad blockers, this is the fun part. uBlock is good. Canvas Blocker is good. Sponsor Block is good. Most of these are good. Anti-ad block blocker is good. Most of these are serviceable. I personally wouldn't add too many because it can kind of bloat it down, but nothing is better than uBlock. uBlock is by far the best one. There's a reason everybody uses it. Just give me a second to add these. Bit of a klutz. Sponsor Block, that it skips over sponsorships on YouTube. It has like a whole database. You can configure it yourself. I personally like turning off unpaid self-promotion and end cards, but you can do whatever you'd like. Anti-ad block blocker does exactly what it sounds like. It blocks those messages that say, hey, you have an ad blocker on. There are other ones, like Privacy Badger. Get that one. It's really good. It is constantly learning how to make your whole web experience more private. It's a security thing. Adaptive tab color, that is really fantastic. Look at this. Boom. That is some adaptive tab colors. You can find a lot of really good extensions under top rated. Sponsor Block is there, Privacy Badger, adaptive tab color. Single file is good. A lot of these other ones are good. But it doesn't matter all that much. It's kind of whatever. All this it's good. You can download any, or if you're feeling really brave, all of these. Oh look, there's Darkreader. Dark background light text. I've used that one before. I find it a little bit glitchy. YouTube improvements, pop-ups, pop-up blockers. I like clear URLs. That's good, and I like Tabby. That's pretty good. Just very good high-rated stuff on here. And that's about it for extensions. Just kind of make sure that those ones are on and running. You can get some other recommended ones, but I would personally just run with those ones. And there's also, you make sure you download Internet Download Manager. I think it's here somewhere. I'll just search. IDM. Okay. Yeah, look, there it is. Make it to be. Now, you just follow these steps, download it. It's kind of a whole rigmarole. But it just generally makes your downloads way faster, better. It's just good. It's a whole thing. Wallpaper Engine is also fantastic. I don't know if the SteamRip one has workshops. I think it does. But it lets you do like cool ass wallpapers on your home screen. You go file and do it. in general, always download stuff from GoFile if you can. It is the best, it's fastest, it's most reliable, all that shit. Right. And that should be about good for Windows. In terms of other things, you know, I of course had that virtual machine thing. I like adding my games through at a non-Steam game. You know, like all these games like Assassin's Creed or, you know, Alan Wake or Another Craft Treasure, Balatro, Baldur's Gate, Bodycam. You know, I didn't pay for like any of these, right? I have a whole bunch. I paid for Doom, but you know, that was a while ago. Factorio, when I paid for Fallout games, I did not realize I paid for those. Firewatch I paid for. Ghost of Tsushima I did not pay for. Hitman I didn't pay for. KSP I paid for. KSP 2 should be here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, I didn't pay for that game. I didn't pay for either of these. Also, scaling, that's more of a me thing. Your PC's not really powerful enough to warrant that. It also doesn't really have the technology. But yeah, a whole bunch of games. You go down here, do add a non-Steam game, and then, you know, follow the procedures. So, yeah, that should be about it. I mean, I have this voice meter that I use. Lets me hear my microphone, you know, turn it on and off and stuff. A little bit of a nerd, but, you know. You just go to Voicemeeter website, download it here. It's a whole thing. But yeah, you know, you can do all sorts of stuff in there. I also have like Calibre, which I use for ebooks. I have like Tegra RCM, which I use for my Switch, you know, for piracy. I have Windows Directory Statistics, or WinDirStat. It's just really cool. Here's what it does. You can scan whichever drives you'd like, and it shows you what is taking up the most space on them. Like which folders in specific. It shows you like a little picture once it's done. Like, yeah, see like a little picture. I don't love that picture. I mean, it's whatever. I don't find it useful. But like, see, look, in the Steam library. Hey, I wonder what's taking up all my space. What? Oh, Doom. That's actually a pretty even spread. Ooh, look, the pirated games. Oh no, Baldur's Gate. Wish I could play that in a language other than Russian, but, you know, be that as it may. I also have DNS stuff because I'm a nerd. I have DaVinci Resolve, which is just a simple video editing thing, which I will be using, and I'm currently using. There's also GNU Image Manipulating Program, or GIMP, which is an image processing thing. Yeah, it's I mean, I think that's about it. And yeah. Cool.